Okay. Hey, so we switched this around. I don't know if this works very well, but that's what's behind us. And then there's like a open space over there, kind of a yoga studio kind of thing. And then the lodge up there, and then this is the dining area. They're cooking some popcorn. We can hear them cooking in the background. Kind of cool. We just finished a lovely kayak. It might have been some of my favorite time because it was quiet, and we were sort of off by ourselves. It wasn't just the whole group, which was kind of interesting. Anyway, so to finish up on the ayahuasca, so last night we drank the plant, the mixture, and we were each taken out to some banana leaves that were out in the yard, so to speak. It's just mud. It was dirt, but it turned to mud because it had been raining pretty hard. But it was cool because we'd watch the sunset, and you could see it was a huge thunder and lightning storm. In the distance, so lots of noise and bright lights and popping, and your eyes get pretty dilated when you're on the ayahuasca, so you become pretty sensitive to the light. And then everybody sort of tripped out and did their own little experience. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was really smooth. I kind of liked it. I enjoyed the colors. That's apparently the plant is speaking to you, saying that, hey, I'm here. And then you get some visions. I didn't get any clarity I was hoping to. Long shot, but worth a shot. It was a good experience. And we have somebody in our group who's a physician, and she knew all about the psychotropic aspects of it all, and it all seems like it's pretty good. There's a couple people that can't participate in this, so they just for their work type thing, so they chose not to. Good for them. And but again, I didn't get sick or have diarrhea, and after a while then I just sort of got up. I got somebody to help me because I'm pretty dizzy. The shaman comes over before about 45 minutes in and hits you in the head with a bunch of leaves, and then whistles and sings and then blows in your head and does some other interesting things, which was pretty cool. You hang out, and I just really enjoyed looking at stuff. I think I could see things that I really couldn't see. And then ended up going to bed. And this morning, got up early. Normally when I get up early, I usually get up about 5. Felt still fairly energized, but we're in the shaman's hut, and just sat and watched the ladies of the house make coffee. It was kind of funny. I figured out how they're making coffee. They have these big pots. They're about this big and about this deep, and they had this whole pot just I don't know how much, boiling with water. And they took 2 pounds of ground coffee and dumped the whole bag of coffee in there and just let it boil in there, because the coffee's been some of the strongest coffee we've experienced. Then they cup by cup strain it through a bag into air pots for us. And then they made a really nice breakfast with eggs and plantains and others. But what I'm hoping is Rika will tell you somewhat what she experienced from that. And then we'll talk about what we did this morning. Does that sound fair?
Mm-hmm. Sure. For me, yeah, I experienced the lights. It was all geometric designs and different colors. And as I was saying prior in the previous blog, that there were dots, these black dots, and I experienced them again when I had a nap earlier today. And then it went really dark, and to the side of me I could see black and white light. It was like it was a hedgerow, but of course there was nothing there. That's just what I was seeing. And when my eyes were open, it was the same. I'd see all these patterns, and it felt dizzy, so I'd actually close my eyes because it felt better to close your eyes. And then I had this whole thing. My experience was a little different to Chris. Chris shared he was very calm and he didn't have any vomiting or diarrhea. I had both. I had diarrhea first, and then I vomited right at the end. Didn't even expect it because I wasn't feeling sick, but it happened. And for me, I was having this like whole conversation.
Muchas gracias, Cristobal.
Between it's all right. Between myself and the little girl in me, who's kind of scared, and she can sort of take over what's going on in my life currently with fear. And I was telling her she was safe and everything was going to be all right, and she didn't need to keep doing what she was doing. She may have had to do it when she was younger to be scared, but she didn't have to be scared now. She was safe with me. Anyway, so I had this whole dialogue about that, and then I was noticing a lot of my physical, what I was doing physically, and one of them was to bend over. And then I had this whole thing where the little girl was telling me she wanted to go back in the womb of her mother. Not me, I'm not her mother, my mother. But she wanted to go back into that space. And I said, if that's the case, then you better go back in there. Anyway, so that's my... Then I had the whole thing about surrendering and trust. I was telling myself that over and over. And all these positions I'd been in were much more fetus-like. And so then I was having a conversation with myself and saying, you know, if you lay straight on your back and you put your arms out, and that would be much more in a surrendering position. You know that, right? And that would be the gladiator in you. I've been talking about myself being the gladiator. Anyway, finally, I did it out on the banana leaf, but it was cool, and it couldn't get warm enough. But then I did it again when I got in under the netting on a pad, and that felt okay. So I was having all these dreams, actual physical things. Mine was a combination.
And I think for everybody, the experience that everybody has is very uniquely different in their own. And so everybody was in bed probably around midnight by the latest, and a couple of people were really sick, but everybody's in bed, and then about 2 or 3 in the morning we had a massive thunderstorm that came through, blowing, and there's no walls on the traditional Achuari houses. So that was kind of interesting, just to have the wind blowing in and getting wet and cool. And but then this morning we all had breakfast, quiet time, hung out, and then we sat around in a circle, and everybody went through sort of like what Rika did and explained what the experience was. It went to Danielle, who spoke Spanish, to Simone, who spoke Achuari, to Zumpa, who then Zumpa listened, and he would interpret, and then back forth. So back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And it was, but again, overall, felt like a pretty good, healthy experience. And then we paid the dude and said goodbye, took some pictures, and jumped on the boat and came up here. And then everybody was pretty cooked, had lunch, and we took a nap. That's it.
Yep.
So,
That was an experience.
any final thoughts on the ayahuasca?
Well, basically you're getting high, I suppose, but in their world, in the Achuari world, the getting high is also, and with the plant working in you, is to help you get some clarity, decision making, help you with any things that you're wondering, pondering. So that's how they do it, and they believe so fully in dreams, in visions, and this is a way of getting more tapped into your vision. So for me it was more like doing something to get high, which I'd not done before. So it was a new experience for me. I don't know it's one that I'll repeat again necessarily, but I'm glad I did it.
I can say for me, oddly, it was like an anthropological adventure to know that that people have been going to that waterfall for thousands of years. That's what impacted me the most. And then to hang out in the forest and really appreciate that. And to do I'm not a big drug person. I don't really throw stones if people are, but it's not my thing. And that was an interesting experience, but I don't see myself doing it again. There are some people this is absolutely life-changing for them. Wasn't for me. But I think overall it was a good experience. That's part of living life. I mean, I'm not going to do heroin because I've never done heroin before, but I think these are like way, way different. So, yeah, that's it. So, again, we went out, had a nice kayak this evening. That was trippy. We're driving our boat up, and a fish literally jumped in to the big motorboat, the long, narrow motorboat, and it's just flopping around in there. And the driver's like, "Yeah, I'll eat that one." So we just left it in there. We pulled out the kayaks and kayaked back downriver, and we're here now. This will be our last night here, and then tomorrow, depending on the weather dependent, when the planes will leave Shell. It takes about an hour from then to get from Shell to here, and it takes us about an hour to get from here to the landing strip. So sometime tomorrow, hopefully we're going to fly back out, and then we're going to go up into the highlands, and that'll be a new experience. So thank you very much. Anything else? All right.